Tu B'Shvat is the Jewish New Year of the trees. In Hebrew, Tu B'Shvat, Rosh Hashanah La'ilanot. Now, after God finished creating the world, the whole planet, God came to the tree and God asked the tree, when would you like to have your birthday? When do you want your birthday to happen? So the tree thought, and he thought very hard, and he said, you know, God, without water, I cannot survive, because I must drink to survive. Without water, I can't live. So I would like to have my birthday when there's a lot of water, when there's a lot of rain. And that is in the Jewish month of Shvat. So the tree said, I want to have my birthday in Shvat. That's in January because the heavy rain is going down in the winter and the earth is saturated with water. So I want to have my birthday. I want to have my birthday in the month of Shvat, which is in January when there's a lot of water. But when would you like to have your birthday in Shvat? On which day? So the tree thought, and he scratched his branches. And as he was thinking, the branches were growing up to the sky until he touched the moon. And he said, I know, I would like to have my birthday on Shvat when the moon is full. When the moon is full. Because when the moon is full, it represents a new beginning. A full moon is a new month. It's a new beginning. So I want to have my birthday when the moon is full in the month of Shvat. Now, it happens that the moon is full on the 15th day, 1/5 of Shvat. So that's the time when we have Tu B'Shvat, on the 15th of the Jewish month of Shvat. Tu B'Shvat represents the move from winter to spring. It's still winter outside, you don't see it. It's still cold, but it starts to happen. Very soon, nature will be awakened, nature will awake, and everything will blossom. The tree will grow. Look at these trees. Look how happy they are. These are English trees. They live in Sheffield Peak District. Sheffield Peak District is in our beautiful country in Sheffield. This place is so pretty, I think we should call it the English Fjords. The English Fjord, Sheffield Peak District. Look how happy the trees are. So soon they're going to open up in a few months' time and they're going to be very, very happy. And nature will blossom and nature will open up and the trees will open up. So we will make a flower, handprint flowers. I will give you all the ingredients and we will make this from your handprint, and it's going to open up because soon it's going to be spring, and soon spring is when the trees are happy. So we're going to do that in a second. 2, Tet Vav 2, has the numerical value of 15. That's why we say Tu B'Shvat. Look, the letter Tet equals 9, and the letter Vav equals 6. 9 plus 6 is 15. So Tu B'Shvat, the 15th of Shvat. But in Hebrew, we also have other letters. We have Yud, which equals the number 10, and we have Hey, which is 5. How much is 10 plus 5? It's 15 as well. So why do we say Tu B'Shvat and not the Yud and Hey of Shvat? Why did we change? Yes. So why did we change it? As you say, why did we change it? Because Yud and Hey happened to make the first 2 letters in the sacred name of God. The sacred name of God in Hebrew has 4 letters. The first 2 letters are Yud and Hey. And it is so sacred that we don't say it, we don't pronounce it. I don't say it. You can think about the name, you can read it. It's written in our Torah, in the Jewish book. You can read it and you can think, but you cannot say it. It's so sacred. And just to make sure we're not even close to saying it, we're not even going to say the first 2 letters. It's not the 4 letter, it's the 2 letter only, we're not going to say it. Just not to be close with the 4-letter name of God. We have other names to God. So out of respect, we're not going to say it. It's like the name is hidden. It's in my head. I can show it to you later. It's in my head, and wherever I look, I can hear the name in my head, but I don't say it. It is hidden. It's nowhere, but it is everywhere, because you know it exists. So the effect of hidden, something that is hidden and mysterious, That is also something that happened in the Hebrew language. I'll show you. We use consonants mostly in Hebrew. We do have vowels, but we don't use it as such. It is hidden. I will explain. In English, we say hello. We know to say he because of the E. Why don't you say holo or hello? We say hello because the E, the vowel, tells us to use the H and pronounce it as he. Hello. In Hebrew, we have vowels. We don't use them so much. So in Hebrew, you will just type H and L. You will say hello, but just type H and L. So how would you know to say hello, not holo or hilo or hulu? If you don't use the vowels, you know it because in Hebrew we have something special. We have a secret marks. It's called nikud. You see the red dots? Those red dots tell you how to pronounce the sound of the letters. So you will use that with the dots. And when you know how to read, you even don't have the dots. You just have this, but you already know how to pronounce it. So it's like the vowels are hidden, like the name of God is hidden. So later on, here I'll show you the table. This line under the letter means you pronounce it as A. 3 dots, E. 1 dot, E, and so forth. So this is how you pronounce that. So you pronounce it as he. And low, L, low, because this is O, hello. If I write it like this is he. How you pronounce that? Le. So he, le, segol. Now, later on, I will give you this table and this paper, and you will write your name in English, but with Hebrew secret nikud. With the Hebrew nikud. So Gil, my name, we don't use vowel, so just GL. The dot is E, so Gil. So we'll try it later on, okay? So it's hidden, but it's always there. Now, Tu B'Shvat has been celebrated for hundreds of years, and it has been mentioned thousands of years ago. This book is 250 years old. 250 years old, and it already explained about Tu B'Shvat, you see? Tu B'Shvat, and also about Chanukah. Tu B'Shvat has 2 sides to it. One is magic, there's some magic to Tu B'Shvat, and one is practical. Practical, these are things that we have to do. Practical. For example, God said that when you plant a new tree, for the first 3 years, you don't eat from the fruit. It will give you fruit for the year 1, 2, and 3. You don't eat it. It's not ready. So from practical point of view, we need to know when is the birthday of the tree. So we know for 3 years not to eat it. The tree itself gives us a lot of practical things. What does tree give us?
Clothes.
Yes. Wood, yes. Furniture. Yes, tree out of paper. That's a very good point. So paper made out of a tree, and then you make a tree again from paper. So it's very practical. We need to know what to do in Tu B'Shvat. The tree gives us practical thing, as you have said. It gives us wood. And these 2 poles are made of wood. This is the Torah, the Jewish scroll, which you will find in Bet Knesset, in the synagogue. So the tree gives us wood to make the pole for the Torah. And so there are practical aspects to Tu B'Shvat, like here, when 2,500 years ago, the Jewish temple stood in Jerusalem. And from practical point of view, that was the time when people had to give 10% taxes. They had to pay taxes. Taxes, when you give 10% of all your crop, you count how much crop you had, and you give 10% to Bet HaMikdash. It's charity to the country. It's monthly charity to the country. So, and it was called Ma'aser. Can you say Ma'aser? Ma'aser. It means 10%. How much tax you pay today? 10%? Actually, they had also another tax day, so they also paid 20% at least. So on practical day, we need Tu B'Shvat to tell us what to do. That's the time we pay 10% of the crop, because the 10 Jewish tribes, they had land 2,500 years ago in Israel. So they would grow crop and food, and they will give 10% to Bet HaMikdash, to the Holy Temple. Because in the Holy Temple, 2 tribes walk, Kohanim and Leviim. They walk in the temple. They did not have lands, so they couldn't grow fruit. So the people would count the crops. Whatever was ripe, they will give 10% to Bet HaMikdash. So this is all practical aspect of Tu B'Shvat. But we also have the magical aspect. You see, in Tu B'Shvat, something magical is happening. You don't see it, but it's happening. You see, it's still cold outside. It is cold, and it's sometimes rainy. But in Israel, most of the heavy rain have been concluded, finished. No more heavy rain. And so the ground is saturated with a lot of water, and the sap is starting to flow up, up, up into the trees. You don't see it. It looks like everything is sleeping outside, but it is happening. The sap is going up, up, up. And it's magical. You don't see it, like you don't say the name of God, and like you don't use vowels in Hebrew. It's hidden, but it is still there. And so for many years, the raindrop fell, and the raindrop were friends with the children, and they were playing together, until these children grew older, and they left. And there was no one left to play with the raindrop. So the raindrops said, we're going to play a game. We're going to hide behind the cloud until someone will find us and call us and ask us to fall down again. So the raindrops in Israel were hiding behind the cloud, and nobody could see them, and they didn't fall down. But then, because the raindrop didn't fall down, the land of Israel became very dry and very cracky. You see, there was no rain, and the tree could not grow because there was no water. So the Hebrew people in Israel, they called up this man. His name is Choni HaMe'agel. Choni, the circle drawer. He was known that when he asks something, it happens. Yes, Choni HaMe'agel, the circle drawer. See, he was drawing circle. He was born some 2,200 years ago in Israel. And the Jewish people called him and said, Choni, can you help us? Can you please make a prayer? And Choni HaMe'agel, what he did is Ag Uga, Ag Uga, which means he made a circle in the ground. Can you say Ag Uga? Ag Uga. It does sound like something your dinosaur on your shirt will say. Yeah, Ag Uga, it's a dinosaur. Ag Uga means created a circle. Yeah, Agugag, Ag Uga. It also means cake in modern Hebrew, probably because ancient cake was probably a circle. So uga means a cake. Ag is the verb, is to make. So he ag uga, and he jumped inside, and he was praying to the rain, and he was praying and praying and praying, and the rain said, okay, someone is calling us. So the raindrop started to come down again. He was really good and really strong with his prayer. So later on, we will make our uga. You will naog uga as well. I will give you all the parts, and you will draw your portrait, like this girl was drawing her portrait. And on the second card, you will write 7 qualities, 7 things that make you happy or that you like. And you see, if you turn it, you see, then you can choose, it's coming, you choose what do you want. So every morning you can choose what do you want to be today out of your 7 messages, and you can turn it, keep turning it, and that's the second thing you can choose for the next day. I have all the cards here, which I will give you to do later on, okay? We will naog uga, like Choni HaMe'agel. And so, when the rain did come down finally, the rain dropped, and the people in Israel started to plant, this man planted a tree, a carob tree. So Choni HaMe'agel saw this man planting a tree, carob tree, in Hebrew, charuv. And Choni asked him how long it will take until this little plant will grow and it will give you your fruit, so you can enjoy the fruit from that tree. It takes time. So the man said to Choni, he said, you know, it will actually take 70 years. 70 years before this tree will grow and give me carob fruit that I can enjoy and eat. And the man said to Choni HaMe'agel, you know, I'm not going to see the fruit. I'm not going to live so long. I'm actually not going to enjoy this carob tree, the fruit, because it will take so long. Now, we do know that carob tree gives fruit after 7 or 10 years, not 70. But this man said it will take 70 years. Maybe back then in Israel, 2,000 years ago, it took 70 years for a tree to grow. There are other explanations why he said 70 years. But he did say 70 years, and I'm not going to enjoy the fruit. So he was planting the tree, but he's not going to enjoy the fruit. But the man said to Choni, he said, I have found the world already planted with carob tree. When I was born, there were already trees with carob trees planted and ready. In Hebrew, אני מצאתי את העולם בחרובים. And in the same way that my fathers planted trees for me, and they did not enjoy the fruit, but I can enjoy it, in the same way, I will plant for you, for my children. כשם שנטעו אבותיי, כך אטע אני לבני. So you see, Tu B'Shvat is ecological holiday. It's about nature. And every time we plant a tree, and we know that it will grow, we will not see the fruit, but the children will see it. All the trees that you see here, somebody planted before you were born. And so in the same way, in Tu B'Shvat, all the children go and they plant a tree. So that it will be ready for your children, when your children will grow. Because people are so much connected to nature and to trees, people are so much connected to nature and to trees that in the Torah, in the Jewish Bible, it says, people are a tree in a field. It says that human beings are actually like a tree. We're so connected to trees. In Hebrew, ki ha'adam etz hasadeh. And in the first book, in the book of Genesis, book of Bereshit, in the Torah, the first ever book, it says that God planted garden in Eden and he put man there. Vayita Elohim gan bekeden, vayasam sham. Can you say vayasam sham? And he put it there, the man that he has created. And so life put us here in Garden of Eden so we can work the land. Trees are so important to us. And so for that reason, later on, I will ask you to create your magical tree. And I have these gem stickers that you can use. And you can draw your magical trees, and you can also write down or draw any magical power that you want to give to your tree. So write it down like water or maybe gold or music, something that will make your tree very strong and very special. Tu B'Shvat is so important that even Moshe Rabbeinu had a dream about this. This is Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our ancestor, and he is famous for taking us out of Egypt. He took the Jewish people out of Egypt. I will tell you all about it in 2 months' time, in April, in Pesach, Passover. But the Tu B'Shvat is so important that he also had a dream about Tu B'Shvat. He was dreaming about the 4 worlds, how the worlds were created, and the fruit of Tu B'Shvat. So, Moshe, one day, it was so hot in the desert, so he was sitting under this tree, I think this tree, and he fell asleep. And he had this amazing dream. He felt that as if his body is going down, but his spirit was going up. It was like just like that. And then suddenly he saw himself in this special world. This is the first world, the first time the world was created. There's so much light there, so much light that it's completely illuminated with energy. This is even before creation. So this is the first world. It's called Olam Atzilut. Can you say Atzilut? Atzilut. It means pure emanation. And then Moshe noticed that this world is becoming more solidified. It's going down, and the sparkles of that world, they're falling down to become even stronger and more dense. The material became more dense. That is the word of Bri'ah. Can you say Bri'ah? Bri'ah, it's the second world. It is word of intellect and where thought exists. And then Moshe saw 3 angels, and they told him, come sit with us. And they had 3 plates of fruit. This angel, this one, he picked the first plate. He picked up the first plate of fruit. And he said to Moshe, you see, these fruits represent the second world of Bri'ah. Because these fruits are soft, are fully soft. You can eat the outside and the inside. There's no hard shell. There's no strong pit. You can eat all of it because that world is soft. And then Moshe took the grapes and he enjoyed them very much. And he noticed that the second world is dancing and going even further down and becoming this world, the third world. This is the world of Yetzirah, the world of speech and word. Look at all these letters in Hebrew. I can see Pei and Yud and Ayin. I even see the letter Chet and Bet. that world is more condensed, more stronger in the materiality. It's the world of speech, where we produce speech. And so the second angel took the fruit that are soft outside, but do have a pit inside, right? There's a core inside, you can't eat it. Because that world is soft outside, but it's a bit more stronger. Pit inside. These are the fruit that represent the world of Yetzirah, the third world. Soft outside, but you cannot eat the inside. And then Moshe saw that the world is cascading now and becoming stronger and more dense, whooshing down and creating this world. That is the fourth world, the last world. This is the world of Asiyah, the world of action. This is your world, children. It's our planet. Yes, this planet. That's how our planet was created. And the angel took out fruit and food which has strong shell. See, strong shell. Like coconut, you cannot eat the outside. You can only eat the inside. Because our world is the most dense, the most strong actually. So you need to protect the fruit and the food. And so there is a strong shell outside which you cannot eat it, but then there is the inside where you can eat. And then Moshe understood that there are four aspects of creation. The world of Atzilut at the top, that's so high we cannot even think of it as a world. It is before creation. And then the world of Bria, where it's fully soft, going down to the world of Yetzirah, which is stronger, so you can eat the outside but not the pit inside, and then cascading down into our world, which is actually the darkest, the most dense world, the most harsh world. And that's why the fruit have strong shell to protect them, the world of action, Olam Yetzirah. We know all about this from the Kabbalah. Kabbalah is the Jewish mysticism that teaches us about this. And so later on, you will create your own special world. I will give you these stickers. They are stickers, fruit, and you will design your own planet, your own world from fruit. You can do it like that, or you can do it like this. This is actually chakra art that Natalie did. You can do it in that kind of design. And so we know about the four worlds from the Kabbalah and from the special tree. This is the tree of life. The tree of life has 10 spheres. See? 10 spheres. And there are 4 worlds. This is our world. It doesn't look like a tree, but it's because it's the tree of life. And that's our world, Olam Asiyah. We have 1 sphere. Sphere means a circle, a globe, but it can also mean sapphire, which is the Hebrew name for sapphire stone, because it has like 10 sapphire stone. So we'll know all about this from the Kabbalah. And if you are a grown-up here, and if you're an adult here today, I will challenge you to come here and to consult this table, which will give you further information. Kabbalah is very complicated. It talks about the governing angel, type of cups, levels of teaching for all the 4 worlds. I'll challenge you to consult this table later on. Kabbalah is very deep. Now, the Kabbalah knows about the 4 worlds from this passage in the book of Ishaya. One passage, one text that says in Hebrew that God said, anyone who is known by my name and in my honor, kol hanikra b'shmi ulichvodi. From this world, we understood that there is the world of Atzilut. And then it says, bra'ativ, bara, barati, olam bria, yetzartiv, olam hayetzira, the 3rd world, asitiv, I have made him the 4th world, olam ha'asiyah. And so because Tu B'Shvat and the 4 world is about the things that we see and full of light and transparent that we cannot see, and also physical thing, because of that we will later on make this flower bookmark. I will actually give you flowers, dry flowers, and I will give you this sticker, and you will put the flower on the sticker, and then we will close it. Because you can see through it, like the first world, full of light, and you can also see some stuff, the physical thing. So that's the other 4 worlds. In Tu B'Shvat, we tend to eat fruit and also nuts. We don't have nuts because nuts allergy. We usually have dry fruit because it would come from Israel, and many years ago they had to dry it, otherwise it will not last. But today we can have everything, not just dry fruit. But it is about reflecting the abundance of the earth and representing the 7 special species of Israel. The Torah, the Jewish Bible, talk about 7 special fruit that are grown and known in Israel. So the 7 species: wheat, barley, date, grape, fig, pomegranate, and olive. They are very famous growing up in Israel. So famous they even made stamps on them. And again, this comes from a passage in the Torah, in the Bible. That is the text. The last thing we will do before we will start to make actual art is we're going to give the blessings of Tu B'Shvat. In Tu B'Shvat, it's common to have 4 cups for grown-up, 4 cups of wine. We're not going to have wine, we're going to have just grape juice. Tu B'Shvat Kiddush, it's called. The first cup out of the 4 is white grape juice. White grape juice because white represents winter, yes, winter in full force. We are now still in winter. And it also represents the first world out of the 4th. The 4 cups also represent the Jewish history. So the first cup represents the time of Mishnah and Talmud. This is some 2,500 years ago. We say a quick blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. And then we take a sip. So take a sip. The second cup is still white, but with a dash of red. Mostly white, but with a bit of a dash of red, make it pink. And that represents the rakafot. These are rakefet plants in Israel. That's the English name. Also representing the beginning of spring and the second world of creation. In the Jewish history, it represents the days of exile. In the year of 70, there was exile, the Roman exile, the elite of the Jews to Babylon. Most Jews stayed in Israel ever since, but there was exile of some of the Jews. That cup represented. So again, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen, and we can have a sip. Yes. And the third cup, mostly red, and just a bit of white. Why mostly red? Because this cup, the third cup, represents the fields of kalaniyot. These are kalaniyot. They are really strong red flowers that blossom now in Israel. Poppies, yes, that's poppies. Red poppies. I mean, it looks incredible. Massive green fields with these poppies. And it's the world of formation, the third world. Olam HaYetzirah. In Judaism, in Hebrew history, it represents the beginning of Zionism about 150 years ago. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. And the last cup is the 4th one. Just red only, the last one. It represents the longer hours of the day when summer will come, the warmth of the spring, the 4th world, Olam Asiyah. In Jewish history, it represents our days today. And we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Are you ready to make some art? Yes? Okay. So let's make art now.
All of these fruits give this whole planet loads of energy and air.